back to Postscript, All Creatures Great and Small. Our podcast is supported by UPMC, Pleasant View Retirement Communities, and Parthmore Funeral Home and Cremation Services. And don't forget,
we also couldn't do this without you. So go to witf.org/mosaic and give whatever you can. $5, $10, whatever works for you. Support WITF Mosaic, and then we can keep bringing you amazing things like Postscript. So let's get into this Christmas episode. I'm so excited for season 4. How about you, Beth?
I know. Yay. It's like, I know we had the finale, but it's like the real finale, right?
It's the finale of finales.
The finale's a finale.
It's Christmas again.
I know.
I love it.
Spoiler alert.
What's the spoiler? They know it's the Christmas
Beep, beep,
episode.
beep, 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 beep.
Oh.
I had to do it. I'm sorry. Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
Let's start with the headline from Aimee. Get me off camera.
Extra. Read all about it. Yeah, the headline is, in fact, the spoiler alert. So if you are watching Postscript and haven't watched All Creatures, get it together. Please go watch the episode. This is a recap show. So not a spoiler, but a spoiler alert, just in case you're watching the first couple minutes of this episode and haven't watched this episode yet. Watch it and then come back. Birth announcement. James Harriet Jr. has entered the world on Christmas.
Oh,
That's so sweet.
that's a good one.
That is a good one.
He's a good baby.
That was a great baby.
Oh,
I know, we'll get to the baby.
Such a
You
good
know,
baby.
all I want to do is talk about the baby, but that's the finale of the finale. So let's get into the rest of the episode.
all right. So this episode is titled On a Wing and a Prayer.
Oh, I didn't know that. Again, I did not read the title.
I read it
On
right
a
here.
wing
Amy told me
and a
it.
prayer.
On a Wing and a Prayer. I don't think they say it, though. I don't remember hearing
No,
it.
it's thematic.
But I think it's, yes, very much with the bird and, you know. That kind
And
of
James
stuff.
gets his wings, too.
That's true. Look at you remembering stuff. So proud of you. I mean,
Thank
that's
you.
part of our role here. So anyway, let's start off with the comic relief of the episode. Richard Carmody and Siegfried.
Yep.
So
Classic duo at this point.
they are classic with putting their feet in their mouths and this whole episode. And it's very comical. I love the relief that they provided, you know, that Tristan-esque
Yes.
character. It's nice that people bounce around each episode for it, which was
Definitely.
good. But they have to go get the Christmas goose. So
Oh my gosh. That
they
was a
go
wreck.
off to get the Christmas goose. And the dog, first of all, side note, looks like Cookie,
Oh my gosh.
but like a bigger version.
Yes.
I can't imagine having a bigger Cookie.
Does Cookie sound like that? That
She
was an
can
aggressive bark.
She can sound aggressive, but she'll bark at you all
Yeah.
day, and
Yeah.
she'll hide behind my leg should there be confrontation. However, if she has something that she's not supposed to have, she'll fight to the death for it.
Yeah.
Just
It's hers now. Guarding it.
yeah. But it was interesting because she like literally looks just like,
Yeah.
but she's just 13 pounds. So
Yeah.
versus like that bigger dog.
He just popped up outside the
Out of-
window.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And then they throw him a treat.
Oh, I
And
missed
then,
the treat.
well, to
they're trying
keep
to, like,
them
go
occupied
over here.
so that they can get the goose, which I
Oh.
guess what I was trying to identify, like what this episode, like the scene was all about. It took me a minute to realize that they were getting the goose here. So they went to this place to get the goose, and the dog, I was like, well, the dog's not protecting these geese. It just was outside the door.
Oh.
Because the road was there, right?
Oh,
You could see the
I
road.
thought it would be like hurting the geese for some
That's what I thought, but
reason.
there's like a road. So like they
Interesting.
just pulled right off and then they're gonna go in and get a goose. So like
Oh.
that was a little confusing, but comical.
Yeah.
So Carmody goes out to go get it, and Siegfried's like, he shouldn't run, don't run.
Don't run.
And then he starts running, and then he goes,
Ooh.
run, boy, run!
Yeah, he's like, I think he's gonna clear it. He'll make it.
Yeah, maybe. And then
Cut to.
cut to the scene where he, had a little tushy bite.
Oh my gosh.
And he is like, the scene is hilarious because he could probably just be laying flat on the table,
That's a good point.
but he's literally
Face
butt
down,
up, face
booty
down.
up.
There, just like all the songs.
That
So
just like all the songs.
can't. But I don't know why. And like his face is like smushed and his arms are
great.
back. I was like,
I used to sleep
so
like that when I was a little kid.
Kids
it's
do
so
that.
comfortable.
It is.
Maybe that's why. Maybe he's comfier.
It did
I don't
not
know.
look like
it
he was
has to have been
comfortable.
like the angle. The
It
dog
must
got
have been
him.
like, you know how your butt kind of cups under? It must have been like up and
under.
under.
Oh, that's awful.
And that part, because otherwise I feel like you could have, Siegfried
could
could
have
have
laid
fixed it
flat.
if he was laying flat.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anatomy
Intense
lesson.
thoughts about the butt.
That poor guy.
Yeah. So then they fight
Then
over.
Mrs. Hall
Yeah.
walks in and gets
Oh yeah, Mrs. Hall
a
walks
glimpse.
in.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Oh my gosh. And she's talking about the goose right before. Like,
How amazing it is and how it looks so nice and plump or something.
Yes. And then she walks
Lovely,
in, she's like,
juicy, and plump.
there it
Lovely,
is.
juicy,
And then
and
she goes,
plump.
oh dear, something like that.
Oh my gosh. That was good. So then we have a scene of like Siegfried and Carmody talking about Father Christmas and who's gonna wear it. And they're like, I'm not
yeah.
wearing it. I'm not wearing it. Siegfried looks at Helen. Helen's face was priceless. And she's just like, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Just because I'm pregnant doesn't mean I'm gonna be Santa.
Absolutely not. Like, that's the farthest
Father
thing.
Christmas.
I do not want anyone sitting on me right now.
I know.
Get away.
I don't want to be around kids. I got one growing in me. She's like literally experiencing labor pains. So that was pretty funny.
So we add another Santa to the list.
Yeah. Yep. Then Mrs. Hall, like, I'm just trying to get through like all of Richard and Siegfried because it was pretty comical.
Of course.
But it was nice that like Mrs. Hall gave Carmody his first gift, his first Christmas
sweet.
gift
The
he's ever
bow
gotten.
tie.
Yeah. That
I
bow tie.
know. He's trying to play it off all episode as if like, oh, it's okay. We didn't do this like in my family. Cool, Christmas,
Yeah.
have fun, everybody else. As if he's not super excited that he's getting to spend Christmas the first time.
And
He
see what it's
loves
like.
it.
I
Yeah.
think he really does like it.
He's really like new to this community vibe, it seems. Like he's used to being
Yeah.
a student by himself. Maybe that's why he's so in his books. Maybe he didn't have like this big warm community growing up. And he's like a little
Maybe.
lone ranger stuck in his books. And now
Aw.
people care about him. So welcome,
Aw.
Carmody.
Look at that. Welcome, Carmody.
know.
We like you.
We like you.
We like you.
That little hug at the end was so sweet.
It was. It
I
was
was
so
like-
sweet.
I feel you, man.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then the Carmody starts talking about giving birth,
Oh, yeah.
right? And he starts saying like, oh, we have to, like, it should be simple. It's pretty easy, blah, blah, blah. You just have to do this. And Helen's looking at him like, GTFO
Yeah.
now.
You both have
I'm
lost your
done.
mind.
Goodbye. Don't stay here.
Oh, it should
Siegfried's
be
like, I
easy.
can do it. No, it should
Didn't
be
he
easy.
compare her to a cow?
They were both
a sow,
doing
I think is what he said.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
He was like, oh
and
wait,
he's like,
but there are arms.
yeah,
The babies do have arms.
You don't have 4 legs. Oh, there's only 2. He's like, well, there do have arms. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, no, you're not delivering my baby. Please leave.
Yeah. Back
So
away.
that was pretty funny too. And then Siegfried offers Carmody that like you can stay for a little bit longer if you
Oh,
want.
yeah.
Not for long, but a little bit longer.
Yeah.
which
He's
was
growing
nice.
on him.
He's growing on him.
The
Little baby
humor
Siegfried.
with them is because they're the same. It's
I
hilarious.
know, I like it a lot.
Like Siegfried has his moments when he's so snarky that it's comical. And now Carmody having similar things it's great. I love them together.
It is good. It is good. So let's switch to James now. All right. So James, that was a great surprise. I was like, oh my God, James. I think I screamed it.
You did.
Right? Didn't
it was
I?
like the opening scene, and you're like,
Yes.
he's back for Christmas.
I thought he was back for
Yeah.
Christmas, which I was like, oh my gosh, he's coming back. You know, the baby's going to be here. Like, you know, they've all been leading up to this the whole time. But he's at base, right? And find out that, you know, a mission went south. So
Yeah.
they lost some men, which was unfortunate.
He knew one of them for a
Yep.
brief time, but
For a brief
he still
time.
knew him.
Yeah. And so he's on the phone with Helen. Helen's supposed to drive out.
Yeah.
And Siegfried getting on the phone and being
Oh
all
my
nosy
God.
in it. Oh my gosh, it just reminds me of doing this to my sister.
Yeah.
Where I think I've told you this story before, but
Yeah.
like she was on the portable phone and I was on the landline and she's talking to her friend and there I am like listening as the little sister. That's just listening. I don't even remember or probably didn't even care what they were talking about. It was just funny.
That you could do it.
She walks down and she's like, hey, and like she didn't even notice I was on the phone, but I'm like, I was on the phone and I was like,
Oh my God.
and she goes, okay, and walks away,
Oh
not
my
realizing that it's the same line,
That's hilarious.
which kids this day might not understand.
No.
Because everybody has their own cell phone.
Right. That
Their own
doesn't
number.
really happen these days.
Not often, but it was fun to do. As
Oh
a
my
kid.
gosh.
Eventually, she, like a minute or two later, she realized and was like, get off the phone!
Yeah.
And came down and yelled
She
at me.
could hear you breathing.
Oh, probably, because I was probably cracking up laughing.
Oh my gosh.
So that was kind of funny that Siegfried, you know, they're all just looking out for Helen, and Helen's like, I'm fine, I want to go see my husband. And I
Yeah.
get it, I
She's
do.
like, I need to do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because clearly he's been gone for quite some time, like a couple months now. 'Cause
Yeah.
He's just finishing up his training, he's got his wings. So he's excited, eager to see Helen and tell her all about it. She's supposed to go out to him.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas, but now, you know, she really shouldn't because she's way too pregnant, way too ready
far
to
along.
pop. I mean, she also
Right.
said the baby was due in December, and you're at December 25th.
Yeah.
You can't go
That's so
anywhere.
true.
You're
It's
done.
late in the month. I never thought of it
you're
that
late in
way.
the month.
Yeah, like any day now, girl.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So after the phone call with Helen, the Woodham is his name? Woodham?
I don't
It's
actually
James-
remember
it's
his
written,
name.
but-
Woodham.
Thank
Woodham.
you.
Yeah,
Woodham.
it looks like Woodham, but it's Woodham.
Yeah.
Okay. So goes to get James
Yeah.
to look at Georgie, who's the
You
hawk.
remember the name of the
No,
bird.
I didn't. Amy
Thanks,
wrote this
producer
down.
Amy.
Thank God.
Like when you say their names, I'm like, picture. Yep, that's that guy. Yep, that's that bird.
Yeah.
Don't remember their names at all.
No, because we're focused on other things. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. But how, you know, he's injured, that Georgie is injured, has a couple broken wings. which
Yeah.
is
Georgie
like-
is a girl.
What?
Georgie is a girl.
Wow.
When did you know that?
They like refer to her with okay, pronoun
Stop.
moment, but like she, her pronouns. I'm like,
They said that in the show?
yeah.
I missed that as well.
Amy should just have a chair out here today.
Come on out.
We are off. Oh my gosh, I'm
sorry.
so sorry,
That's
people.
not a part of my
okay.
job
See,
description.
like the moments that stick out to us are the heartfelt moments
That's-
around the
yeah.
story
Yeah.
with Georgie and Woodham because
yeah.
man, he's been through it.
He
So the
has.
detail of who they are and where they come
And
from.
what they identify as
Yeah.
is not
At least
remembered
not in
as
this
easily.
episode. I
I'm
remember
sorry.
Georgie's wing more than Georgie's name. So
I remember the wing.
you remember the wing?
I read Georgie.
Yes.
So anyway, and then at that moment, James asks Woodham if he can go home because of his pregnant wife, and he's really concerned about her. And he's like, we all have people we're concerned about.
Yeah.
So nice try, but that's not going to happen.
No. He's not even that far.
He's not, which it's like a 2-hour drive.
Something like that.
And like, it's not that bad at all. Like, just let him go.
I know,
It's
that's what I was
James.
thinking.
He'll come back. So anyway, he ends up going AWOL. And this
Like
was
literally.
I was surprised a little bit. Like, I know that James has his moments of impulses where he's just like, I'm gonna do it. But I really didn't think that he would break this rule.
I don't blame him at all.
I don't blame him, but
Yeah.
that's a lot. You can get to jail.
Did he realize the weight of this? Like he must have.
I don't know.
I get the impulse because he walked toward the car, he walked away, and then he's like, no, I'm just gonna go do it. I'm jumping in.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you're right. You could have been dishonorably discharged.
Oh yeah, and then thrown in
Quickly.
jail.
In jail?
I think they go to jail. It used to, so I looked it up real quick online.
Yeah.
And it said that it used to be capital punishment.
No
But because
way.
hundreds of thousands of soldiers did it,
Yeah.
they sent them to jail for a certain amount
That's
of time frame.
insane.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh. So they got the biggest punishment if they would skip out even on Christmas. I get it though. And so how do you feel about this whole exchange between them? Because on one side, I was really leaning into Woodham, like trying to understand where he's coming from, stick to the rules. By the end, we see that it's more about really loyalty to the guys and like brotherhood team mentality.
Yeah.
So I get it. I was just like, this is a TV show. Can you please let him go see the birth of his child? Like, please.
Woodham, don't you know you're an actor?
I know.
Let him go.
Let
We
him
need to
go.
see this.
And I'm curious,
Which is why
like, how many
we got
times
to
this,
there.
like, happened. And I get it.
Oh, they all, like, I'm sure a lot of people did to try and
Yeah.
go home, but he's so close.
Right.
And he's like, can I just,
And I know.
please?
And I
It's
get
right
it,
around
because
the
then
corner.
if James got to and someone else didn't get to, it's like, oh,
And then you would have no
heart-wrench.
soldiers should somebody be bombed and they
Yeah.
have to go.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're losing that aspect. But
Exactly.
training camp
Oh my
now
gosh,
is,
if they had to go right away.
well, this is training camp.
Yeah.
So they're learning, and you're not allowed to see anybody for, I think now it's like 6 to 12 weeks is boot camp.
Oh, okay.
I think even now it's a thing. You don't see anybody. You can
You're
only like
in with
write
your
or
guys,
call.
that's it.
You're in with your guys. You're learning your teams and
Guys
stuff like
and
that. You're
girls,
learning your
yes.
training. Yes, sorry.
Your team.
Guys in general.
That was me.
Your team, and then you go and you're assigned to your station. And
Yeah.
your real team.
Yeah.
That's I think how it works. My family, my immediate family has not served. Like
Yeah.
my grandfather and stuff like that, and my uncles actually, cousins, but my immediate family has not. So I don't know all of the logistics of it,
Yeah.
but I believe for that 6 to 12 weeks, you don't talk to anybody.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
So he's really feeling it.
Oh yeah,
And
because it's been a while.
yeah.
His
And
pregnant wife, and James has such a big heart.
I know.
So he jumps in this car,
he jumps
the
in.
truck,
We get
and
a
then
little
he
bit
jumps
farther
out.
down the road, and he jumps out.
and then somebody picks him up, and he's talking to the guy about the cat and the daughter, and it was a really sweet moment for them.
Yeah.
And then he says, okay, keep walking that way to go to Derby. And then we see another car.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my goodness, it's going to be not okay. And
I was shook.
yeah.
I did not expect that at all. When he started walking before he got in the other guy's car, I kind of had a thought that Helen's gonna run into him. Like, she would still be driving. Even
She wasn't going to.
Siegfried said don't, doesn't mean she wouldn't, you know? So I
she was
thought they
having
might have,
indigestion, so.
yeah. I thought they might have, like, run into each other at that point.
That would have been sweet.
I was afraid for him.
Oh, I thought he was going to get in
was
big trouble because
toast.
Woodham didn't seem like somebody who had the empathy for it.
No.
But I'm
He was like,
glad.
you're lucky it was me. I'm like, okay, that's
Yep.
shocking.
Well, because he would have gone to jail. So
Yeah.
there's that. So he was very lucky. James goes back. Woodham gives him the whole speech about brotherhood and like Georgie needs to be fixed to give these guys some
Morale.
semblance of hope.
Yeah.
There needs to be something.
She's the mascot.
She is the mascot. So he, eating a food on a toothpick,
Yeah.
goes and figures it out, pulls the wing out. Oh my gosh! And then
It was
puts
the
it back.
feathers.
With
It was the way the
feather,
feathers laid after it broke or was injured, at
yeah.
least.
Something like
It was
that.
all about the flight pattern. So, like,
Yeah.
the way Georgie was, like, probably wasn't in pain, but because the feathers were out of place,
Oh
can't fly if your feathers aren't aligned.
no, that's
So,
true.
I love that earlier you said baby, and it's like the birds too.
Oh, did I do that?
Yes.
Oh, look at me go. Thanks for noticing.
Yeah, of course.
So, so James is a Christmas Eve with Georgie and gets her to fly. They go through, the feathers push through, and
Yep.
there she is. She's flying. Gives the guys hope on
Yeah.
that Christmas day.
It's a Christmas
and
miracle.
It's amazing. It was really sweet. And now
Yeah.
James understands. These are my brothers. I have to stay.
protect
I have to
them.
protect them. I'm part of a brotherhood.
Exactly.
They're my family too.
We're all in this together. I did
Mm-hmm.
like that Woodham said it's more about the outlook, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, if we're all in this together, kind of nose down. Part of it, I grappled with this, but part of it is like, do what you're told, be here for one another, because that's the way you get through this. Like, if you're focused on being here and being present, then we're all gonna kind of like be in sync with one another when we have to go in. And that's the only way we do this, is like if we're all engaged instead of thinking of our families and our loved ones who are important. But because they're important to us and we want to get back alive, we have to be locked in here and now.
Yeah.
That's the only way we all make it home and the only way we make it through it, hopefully, to their knowledge right now, hopefully quickly.
Yeah.
They want the war to be done. soon, obviously.
And they have to act as one.
Exactly.
As one whole team, one person. They have
Yeah.
to know exactly what everybody's doing. And if you're off thinking about something else, it's not going to be easy to focus on
No.
the task at hand.
And that's endangering them,
And
potentially.
the whole team, yeah, exactly.
So I got it. I got where he was coming from. Didn't like the way he presented it. Thank you. Presented it at times, but he also looked really young. So when they said he had 2 twin daughters,
8 months old.
Yeah.
Oh, and he only saw them twice.
So I get it. I
get
super
it.
get what he was talking about
know.
earlier. He's like, listen, you're not the only one. We got to be here because all of those men I just trained for a year. I just lost them all.
Yep.
So it's group mentality now.
It is. It is.
But then, by the way, thanks for saving the bird. You can go see your wife.
I know.
I was so upset.
And he gets leave for 2 days.
Yes, it was longer than I thought. I only noticed the one. I didn't know it was 2 days, so that's nice.
Drops him off on the day after Christmas.
So
And
Boxing
he's
Day.
supposed to come back the
Yeah.
28th, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's like, come back. I will.
Okay. Well, he knows the rules. I was sad he missed the birth. Were you?
I was too. A little
Yeah.
bit. I mean, that's to be expected. So
Yeah.
many people miss the birth. So,
Really?
especially in the war. Well, in the war, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's go to Helen and the baby.
Yeah.
So at first she talks about it being just indigestion,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which
Okay, can I say something?
Producer Aimee.
Fun fact. I'm putting my mom on blast. Hi, Mom. What's up, Debbie? So my birthday is October 12th. My due date was October 13th. My mom went into work all day and she was like, man, I just have the worst gas. Like, I have a big old fart. Like, and she called my dad and he was like, no, that's the baby. Go to the hospital. And I was literally a big old fart. My mom went to work all day, went to the hospital like an hour after work. I was born at like 8:30 at night.
Wow.
So she was laboring all day thinking it was a fart.
Oh my God. She was laboring all day.
And I had no idea. Like, she was just like, it's fine.
Thank you, Papa Aimee, for letting your wife know.
Yeah.
Amy's coming.
Shout out to Dennis for making sure Debbie made it to the hospital. So thank you for my sidebar on indigestion. Goodbye.
and that probably
Relatable.
happens with so many women. It's not labor.
Yeah, because
it's not.
you don't know what to expect it might feel like.
Oh yeah, it's
until
different
it
for everyone.
happens.
It's different every time. And some women, probably Helen as well in this show, is just you're in denial that this baby's coming.
Oh.
You're not ready for it.
Mhm.
You don't. It's going to be painful for God knows how long. It's going to be painful for. So it's all of those feelings, hormones, and stuff. So you're like, it's indigestion.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like just a little bit longer. Nope, it's not here yet.
Yeah.
I liked that she was honest with James the next day when she was like, it was rough.
Oh yeah.
Like, I did not know that could happen. I was like, that's
She would
honest.
say it.
No, like her saying that, like, she didn't go into like elaborate, but the tone was, that was way harder than I expected. That was out of like what I could have ever dreamed of how that process would go. She said something about the things you would have heard, because I know you get primal. Some people, I don't know if all people, but I've seen some videos. It's very moving. But there was this one documentary one time, and like people were screaming, and I'm like, I get it. And it was really beautiful too. But I was like, that's what it takes to have a baby.
It's not easy. And when you're in labor, anything goes. You just do whatever you
Anything
want to
goes.
survive, and you have to survive it. And then the funny thing about the women's body is that after labor's over, give it a little bit of time, and you forget about like most of that pain. And then that's why you have more.
You forget?
Well, like I don't remember, like I know it was painful, but I don't know to like what extent of pain. Like there's the ring of fire and stuff
Okay.
like that. That's super painful.
Yeah.
But like from
Everything
1
else.
to 2, I was like, oh, I'll be fine. I didn't do epidurals, so like felt everything.
Yeah.
And from the first one to the second one, I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. I did it before. I can do it again. And then the pain was there. Like
When it came
the second
back,
one, I'm sorry, was super freaking easy. The first one, not a fan.
that's a
Wouldn't
lot
do
of
it
people's
again.
experiences.
But the second one was super easy, 15 minutes, and I was just like, oh, this is really
Did you
painful.
go through
and
like
ring of
all the
fire quick.
stages again? Okay. Maybe, like,
You-
if you remember, like, I would picture it like, this is so nerdy, like a chart or like a roller coaster.
chart it.
Is it the same kind of phases? It was just faster.
Yeah, I mean, I was induced before.
Okay.
So the induction, that's not like supernatural. With the second, I went naturally into labor. So your progression chart would be you start off small and then they get more intense
true.
and closer together and all of that. And then towards the end, your water should break at some point. Mine never did for either. So they had to
wow.
break my water. And that's when I was like, if you just break my water, I'll have this baby.
Yeah,
In the
'cause then
next
it's
30
like
minutes. I
go
was like,
time.
I know it. I'm ready. And I had to wait a good hour and a half because of the waiting room and getting into triage
yeah.
and then getting into the labor and delivery room. There's
to
a
move.
whole process. Well, they put me into triage and checked, and then they were like, yeah, you're pretty far along. Let's put you into labor and delivery just in case. And I was like, if you just break my water, I'll have this baby for you, please.
Yeah.
And then finally my doctor came in, who wasn't supposed to deliver me that day because she was doing
Wow.
surgeries. And she came in and was like, so how are you doing? What are you doing here? Your induction's for tomorrow. And I was
Yeah,
like,
and
yeah,
you're
I'm
like-
ready to have the baby. I'm just waiting for shift change at 5 so I can have the baby. And she's like, well, I'll break your water for you.
Yeah.
So she did. And I was
Sweet.
like, thanks. 15 minutes later, done.
Welcome to the world.
Another word, baby Benjamin.
Yes. That was so sweet.
So anyway, sorry, sidetrack. But
It's all relevant.
it's all it's different for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's painful for everyone. It can be very traumatic for some people.
oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Totally feel it all. But we have Helen, who is in Carmody. This is she's indigestion, laying on the couch, and Carmody says that she is labored or rendered useless.
What?
He says that. That's quoted. And rendered practically useless in the lead up, during and after the
yeah,
birth.
when he's scaring
And
her.
Helen tilts her head, and then he's like, I'm going to
Exactly.
go.
Now he gets it.
I'm out.
He just
Sorry.
needed the look.
Yeah, he just needs to look. And Helen's been given that. But so we missed this other scene of them at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
So Mrs. Hall made Christmas dinner for everyone.
Everyone.
And is having it at the Drovers.
Mm-hmm.
So at first I was like, why is she having it there? Why wouldn't she just have it at the home? And then I realized, oh my gosh, Helen could have the baby at any moment, so
moment.
she would probably want privacy. That's probably why she did it at the bar. And Mrs. Hall for the win.
Yeah,
That's all we need to
honestly,
know. Mrs. Hall for the win.
That
She's
was
amazing.
a good idea.
I know. She's so good. So everybody's there setting up. Mrs. Pumphrey walks in with Tricky, which, side note, there is a Masterpiece newsletter that you can all subscribe to, and they give you insider sneaks peeks, whatever, and
Yeah.
different little videos. And James's favorite animal character is Tricky,
Oh, yeah.
of course.
Of course.
He said, Derek is his real name, and he said he's so chill. He just hangs out, does whatever,
He's a pro.
and he's a pro. And he's like, I love him, and I was like, so
That's
do
so
I.
cute.
It's great. Made me so happy. Anyway,
Tricky
back
is
to
your
the story.
favorite.
We've done so many side notes. Sorry, Aimee. But anyway,
It's
So-
Christmas. They're
it's
like little
Christmas.
gifts.
That's true. They're little gifts. You're welcome, everyone. So anyway, then they do the presents on, back to we're at the bar, and Richard is there and says something snarky to Helen, and she goes, I'm pregnant, what's your excuse?
Yes. He said that she's gotten bigger.
Oh,
And she said,
yeah.
I'm pregnant. What's your excuse?
I love it. I love their
They
bantering.
throw it back at each
And that
other.
they throw it back. It's really nice. But
He's
he
one of
brings
my
in the
faves.
crib.
Yeah.
Or the little cradle, which is so sweet. And
Yeah.
he's like, it's good enough for the both of you.
It was so cute.
And oh my gosh. And they keep calling princess.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh my gosh. When Jenny wants to get a drink, she
That
said,
was amazing.
she's like, make that two. He said, keep that one.
She's like, what, 15 or something?
Yeah.
Which is age for over in Europe. Kids
She's running a
drink over.
farm.
And she's running the farm.
She deserves it.
She does.
But I get it.
It was funny. Keep that one. Mm-hmm. So, but Tricky's there, and then laying in the cradle, which was even funnier.
Mrs. Pumphrey and the
I love
audacity.
Helen's look. The audacity. She just
like-
does whatever she wants, and so does Tricky, which is fine. But then Helen's like, Dad,
Yeah.
fix it
Yeah.
and fix it now. And then she's
Yeah.
like smiling at Mrs. Pumphrey.
Like, oh well.
Okay.
It's
So-
good enough for Tricky.
Yep. So then the next day in the bar, everybody's there. Carmody and Siegfried are there. They've been kicked out of the house. It's just Mrs. Hall and Helen there until the midwife comes around.
Yeah.
'Cause
The
they got
fact
kicked
that they
out.
needed to call the midwife and the midwife was just like, nope, there's snow on the Dales. I can't make it. And Mrs. Hall comes back down the hall and is like, oh, she'll be here tomorrow. It'll be fine until then. I was like, what?
We're just going to figure it out.
Oh my gosh.
People do it.
Terrifying.
People do it. It's insane.
Mhm.
So anyway, then we are at the bar for the Christmas, Merry Bloody Christmas, everyone.
Yeah.
And they toast to Mrs. Hall for like doing all of the Christmas stuff and taking care of Helen and all of that stuff, which is great. So then we have, you know, we skip. We don't really know. We see she's in pain, but that's about it. And she's
Yeah.
like in labor. And then we skip. James comes running across the square, which when he got out of the car, I was like, run, dude, what are you waiting for? Go. He goes and runs, finally finds Helen upstairs and is like, oh my gosh, I love you so much.
was
I've
so
missed you. It
nice.
was so sweet.
I love how he blew past everyone. Everyone understood.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
like, oh, hey, James. But he's
Yep.
like, I got to get to my wife
Yep.
now.
And then little baby James is there.
So cute.
It was so sweet.
What a fresh little baby actor.
I know.
That was a good baby.
It was.
I wonder if there were two of them. A lot of
There
times
usually
on
are.
shoots, yeah,
Yeah.
there are twins.
Yeah, because if a baby's crying, you can't really use
Yeah.
that baby. So
But I'm like, was there a
Right.
local hospital? Were they like,
that
hey,
baby
we're
was
gonna have
like
some
2 months old.
waivers out for this shoot day. If anyone is comfortable with
Oh.
us.
They have casting
You
calls
think
for
2
babies.
months?
That baby had to have been.
That baby
Around
was
2
young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
I
can have
wonder if
little
a crew
babies.
member had a baby and was like,
that could be it too.
that'd be cute to keep it in the fam, but that's just a guess.
well,
Like,
I'll keep a lookout for that
in the
article,
behind the
sneak
scenes.
peek behind the scenes.
I'm
stuff.
sure we'll meet baby James behind the scenes.
Yeah, it was fun. They also, I watched another video about the cat Oscar, who was a female named Humbug. And remember how we were like, how is
Humbug.
this cat sitting here so nicely? So there was a little actor side note of how everybody, when they see, oh, there's a cat that you have to work with, because cats do whatever they want whenever they want.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my gosh, like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
This is gonna be hard. And then they get Humbug. And they're like, this is the most chill cat. And they loved it. And they love working with all of them. It's
That's
really
so
cute seeing that. So that's
sweet.
another video.
We love that.
I know. All right. So anyway, Allie, quick. You
Yeah.
got like a minute. Frame of
Okay.
the episode.
Everybody watching / listening, I have 3 frames of the episode that I want you to vote on. Go to witf.org/postscript and then click on our season episode, or go to youtube.com/@WITF Mosaic and go straight to our video. All right, here are the big 3. 1, Richard holding up little James's hand. That's 1 frame of the episode because it was hilarious.
So cute.
Look, this is an Alderson hand. That was so funny. The 2nd frame of the episode, producer Aimee, I might shoot it to you if you can help me remind me because I'm drawing a blank and I had 3.
Carmody.
The Darabee 1 mile marker.
That was insane.
Tragic.
Oh my gosh, he made it 1 mile away. That was
know.
definitely one of them. And then one with Carmody. What
His
was
butt.
that
The
one?
side butt.
That
The
was
side
the
butt.
3rd, I guess, for the humor.
It was
More
great.
about his face. It was his
His
face
face was,
smushed
like,
down and
planted,
his expression. So yes, I got excited about all 3 and then I blanked and forgot all of them. So baby hand would be a vote for number 1. Number 2 will be that mile marker when James almost made it for the birth of his baby. And then 3 is Carmody, because why not? Add a little humor. Those are
Put
my
his butt
frames
up.
of the episode.
I love it. So would you watch it again or would you skip it?
I kind of would skip it,
Really?
unpopular opinion. I would go to the scenes I want to see. So I would
Yeah.
love to see that baby again.
Oh, yeah.
I loved the dad in the car. He was so lovely. But I don't need to watch that again.
Really?
I am so stuck on the episode where James goes away 2 episodes ago.
You're still stuck.
I'm stuck on that. I can't top it. So I was like, not to say it's Christmas. We love
Yeah.
Christmas. So I can't say I was let down, but I wasn't, it didn't meet that
Yeah.
for me. So I would skip.
Well, for everybody else, I'll watch it with you again.
Yes.
For sure. It was just
Sweet.
so nice and just light.
Yeah.
And I love that.
yeah.
So I'd watch it again. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us, whether you're listening to us or watching us on YouTube. We really appreciate it. We appreciate your support, and we appreciate you being here and watching the season with us. Gosh, what a wrap.
I know. It was such a good time. So check us out on Instagram at WITFORG. Maybe you could see us open our poppers this year. And then go ahead and rewatch the season. Follow along on YouTube. Go to your favorite podcast platform and listen again. We love having you here on Postscript with us. And we thank you so much for watching and listening.
Thanks.
Thanks again to producer Aimee and Jon for the whole season. And thank you for watching.
We'll see you next season.
Yes.